I've been watching more C-dramas lately, and I started watching exclusive Fairy Tale, and I think it's going to fill the gap that Hidden Love left. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, where I talk to you about, K-dramas, C-dramas, BTS, and whatever else I want to talk about. And I want to talk about exclusive Fairy Tale. I've seen this one has been recommended quite a bit, especially for those that are wanting to watch something to fill in the gap where Hidden Love has left. I've talked about Hidden Love on my channel before, on this podcast before, and I am going to upload another episode about my love for that show as well, probably at the time of recording this one. But I started exclusive Fairy Tale, and it has a really zany appeal to it. It's very cheesy, but it's very upbeat. It's got 24 episodes as far as I can see right now, and I'm about 5 episodes in, and it's definitely another version of slow burn. The basic synopsis: it stars a young boy and a young girl, Ling Chao and Xiao Tu, and they basically have grown up together. They were born not too far apart from one another. And I know that with the female lead in particular, she takes on the role of being like big sis to Ling Chao, and it just kind of chronicles them. And right now in present day, the show is starting to kind of give the foreshadowing and the subtext that there's something else that's brewing, and that their friendship, their brother and sisterhood is going to kind of make a shift. And I've talked about this in Hidden Love, where on paper it sounds kind of dubious and kind of weird. It's like they're not blood related at all, but their parents are like godparents to one another. I know with Ling Chao's situation, his dad ended up leaving the family quite early on, so I know Xiao to her family kind of takes him in, and they have this really close bond, and it's very slapstick and goofy, and she's very bratty, and she's annoying but also really charming and endearing and funny, and he kind of seems exasperated dealing with her. But you can tell that now that they're in high school, they're a little bit older, the feelings are starting to shift a little bit. I've said I'm 5 episodes in, and the romance is not there yet. The female lead definitely sees the male lead still as like a brotherly type figure. She teases him quite often, and she gets herself into a lot of trouble with her best friend, and it's very cute and it's very adorable. And you can tell with the male lead, something's brewing, something's coming down. So I do think I'm going to enjoy this slow burn as well. There's something about C-dramas that are just hitting for me lately. I love slow burns so much. That is like my favorite trope. I love friendship that develops into something more. I like friends to lovers as a trope. I like enemies to lovers, but it's not really done well. But friends to lovers really hits that sweet spot when it's done really well. And I'm really curious about how this show is going to make that shift from them having this type of sibling type chemistry and make it move into something else. The way I'm talking about it right now is not really selling it. It does probably sound really sus when I'm talking about it, but I swear it's going somewhere, and it's going to take its time. And this is what Hidden Love did really well, that on the surface it seemed really dubious at first. It's like, okay, there's this big age gap, there's a 5-year difference, and the female lead, it just looks kind of off, but then the show does such a beautiful job in expanding the relationship, and it really sells you. And I think exclusive Fairy Tale is doing that as well. I also was interested in watching this because I hear that a member of 17 I hear that the lead male, Ling Chao, is played by a member of 17. I think Jun is his name. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I do listen to K-pop, but I mainly listen to BTS. I listen to a lot of girl groups as well. but I'm not really familiar with 17 or the discography, but I know of them, obviously. And I'm really enjoying his foray into acting, to be honest. I think he does the stoicism of this character really well. He does a lot of deadpan humor, and that's one of the things I love about the show. It does a great job of like breaking the fourth wall, meaning that there's times where the characters will actually look directly at you in the screen and they'll address the audience, which is really funny. I think it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I feel like the female lead in particular, she's having a great time. Like, she just throws her body into the role, and she's just really sweet and goofy. But the show actually has its couple of moments as well where, you know, they end up under a blanket together. Like, she has this crazy idea to run after Ling Chao one night. He goes off to like play with his buddies, you know, collect Pokemon or something, and then he comes back to her place to kind of have dinner with the family, and he's like, where is she? And she ends up on this wild goose chase looking for him, and in the night, and she ends up with a bunch of guys that look questionable at first, and then he kind of goes off into the night to search for her. And it's like this whole thing, and she ends up on all these side trips. She ends up buying a bunch of food, and she's like wheeling and dealing with the food, and then he finally finds her. He's like, what the hell's wrong with you? And it's just really funny, like her facial expressions. I think the actress is really doing a good job. Like, she plays that kind of bratty, exuberant, totally excitable teenager really well. And I'm really curious to see how they kind of age up the characters and make them mature more, and that it turns from what it is right now to love. The show is really taking its time, and I enjoy that innocence of it. I enjoy the growth. I want to be invested. One thing I love about love stories is love stories that take their time to unfold and craft themselves. I'm not really happy when, like, in the second act already the two leads are like, we're soulmates, we need to be together for the rest of our lives, and then the rest of the story is about them having conflict and falling out with one another and coming back together. It's just not really emotionally gratifying for me. So I appreciate, either in books or in any form of media where there's a love story being crafted, and it actually takes its time to really gel and sink in. And when we as the audience realize at the same time the characters do, like, oh my god, am I falling in love with this person? Is this what's happening right now? I adore that. Like, it's like an adrenaline rush to my veins. That sounds very extra, but I mean it. I love love stories so well, and I like that the C-dramas that I've watched now are getting into that beat of crafting a very slow burn. I think it just works for everything that I want right now. And it's not to say that I'm not still watching K-dramas. I am. I have a few that are on the back burner. I am watching Lovely Liar, which I will have posted a video about that already by time this is finished editing and what have you. And there's a few other K-dramas that have come out that look really interesting. Like, a few thrillers have come out that are catching my eye. I think there's one that's called Mask Girl that I'm really interested in as well. That looks kind of intriguing. But the C-dramas, I'm definitely getting into a lot more, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to watch exclusive Fairytale. I think I'm really looking forward to the female lead in particular kind of maturing a bit. I like her antics. I like that she's zany. I like that she's a little crazy. But I'm really looking forward to when the realization kind of clicks in as they get older. Oh my god, why am I looking at him different? Like, what's going on here? Like, you see little hints of it already, the foreshadowing already coming forward, which is just like the sweet spot. So it's like, yes, let's go, let's do this. So I'm going to keep it brief for today. I think that's going to be it for the podcast. I'm going to actually go right back to watching more exclusive Fairytale and then catching up on all the other dramas that I've missed. And I'll let you know how I think my thoughts have changed towards the series, and if I think it gets even better. I think it's going to get really good. I have a feeling it's just going to get really, really good. Anyways, thank you for tuning in for this podcast. If you're watching via YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification. Do all that good stuff. If you're listening via Spotify, please, 5 stars. 5 stars. Please share to any of your K-drama, C-drama, BTS loving family or friends. Please, let's all like conjugate together and just squee about these shows. I appreciate you so much for taking your time to watch and listen to me. Till the next one. Bye.